This is the Wheel of Time Spoilers podcast. Your hosts are Seth Jacobson and Patrick Heiler.
Take a sip of this beer and then start reading. And slam it into the microphone first. There we go. Accomplished.
I appreciate that. I'm
right.
sure John will enjoy that noise in his headphones.
Sorry, everyone listening live. And chapter 14, The Bite of the Thorns. And our symbol is one that we haven't seen yet in the whole series, so I don't have a name for it. I don't want to say a black and a white lady, but the same image of a woman that's mirrored, and one is in black and one is in white.
It's an inverted, mirrored image of a woman's profile.
So like
Janus symbol.
I dig it.
Even though Janus is usually facing away from the center, and these two women are facing each other. But it's basically I call it the black Ajah symbol. What you're seeing is a woman who is black Ajah, who's corrupted the white Aes Sedai. So it's essentially the black Ajah symbol.
There's a lot of talk about Liandrin and the black Ajah in this chapter, but I think there's actually no black Ajah in the chapter characters. Because it's just Swan, Leanne, Nynaeve, and Egwene are the only people in this chapter.
Yeah.
The Amerlin seat did not speak at once. She walked to the tall, arched windows and looked out across the balcony at the garden below, hands clasped tightly behind her. Minutes went by before she spoke, still with her back to the two of them. I have kept the worst of it from getting out, but how long will that last? The servants do not know of the stolen ter'angreal, and they do not connect the deaths with Liandrin and the others leaving. It was not easy to manage that, gossip being what it is. They believed the deaths were the work of Dark Friends, and so they were. Rumors are reaching the city, too, that Dark Friends got into the tower, that they did murder. There was no way to stop that. It does our reputation no good, but at least it is better than the truth. At least none outside the tower, and few inside. No Aes Sedai were killed. Dark Friends in the White Tower. Tha.
I highlighted that.
First time I've had to pronounce that out loud.
I wanted you to read that.
I've spent my life denying that. I will not let them be here. I will hook them and gut them and hang them out in the sun to dry.
So I like that she uses the silence as a punishment.
Swan does this a lot.
Yeah. And she teaches Egwene to do it as well.
Yeah.
To use silence as a way to really heighten the tension and make things a little more stressful for those people she is
sweating them. She's making them sweat.
Totally.
So those first word comes out of her mouth, everybody kind of jerks a little. That's what I imagine is happening.
The longer the silence, the more significant the noise.
So Swan is addressing a lot of what she talked about in the previous chapter, but probably I kind of want to jump to Egwene's bit of response here, like one paragraph down, unless there's anything you want to go over with that.
The only thing I wanted to say is now feel the real bite of the rose's thorns, which is the title of the chapter. The gift, the rose, is being raised to accepted. The thorns are the fact that you now have to hunt the black Ajah.
I also liked that the rosebud is the symbol that we see over and over with the girls in Learning to Channel. And she's like, well, you get this gift, the rose, which is the gift of knowledge, the gift of being raised, but the gift of using the power. But then you get the thorns, too.
Right.
Which is
the responsibility.
Right. Egwene takes a deep breath. Mother, are we to be punished more? Beyond what you've already sentenced us to? The Amerlin looked over her shoulder at them. Her eyes were lost in shadow. Punished more? You might well say that. Some will say I've given you a gift, raising you. Now feel the real bite of the rose's thorns. She strode briskly back to her chair and sat down, then seemed to lose her urgency again, or to gain uncertainty. To see the Amerlin look uncertain made Egwene's stomach clench.
I sort of saw this paragraph as Egwene starting to grow up a little bit, realizing that adults don't have all the answers.
Right. And that Swan is floundering right now.
Exactly.
She's treading water. Not to use too many seagoing analogies in this chapter, because there will be plenty more of those without me.
Oh, she's treading water and the silverfish are circling, and
when you lose your oar at sea, any plank will do. That's coming up.
Did you know Suan was raised as a fisherman's daughter in the Fingers of the Dragon? Because if you didn't,
you're going to find out. I'll read Swan's response to Egwene. It is a question of who I can trust, she said softly. I should be able to trust Leanne and Shiriam, at least. But do I dare? Varen? Her shoulders shook with a quick, silent laugh. I already trust Varen with more than my life. But how far can I take it? Moraine? She was silent for a moment. I've always believed I could trust Moraine.
I love that half that list is dark friends.
Right. 2 of the 4. No. Shouldn't be trusting them.
No.
But, I mean, Varen helps out in the long run. We've had some talk. We've talked a little recently about what Varen is doing at this point in the series and whether or not it's good or bad for the light. Oftentimes, I feel like it's fairly neutral. And we don't really see that much from Varen's perspective. So we don't know what her orders are.
No.
From the shadow.
My most recent thought, I think, was that she has told the shadow where the Horn of Valyr is. Because the only 2 people that know its location are
Swan and Varen.
We know it gets stolen the second it's moved. So my assumption is that Varen is still a bit of a spy. As much as she is working for the light in the long run, any double agent has to turn over information and, commit certain crimes just to stay in the good graces of the black. Because she's not supposed to give the Dream Terangrial to Egwene at all, but she does. So that's a bit of a betrayal. But she doesn't give her the notes that would have very much helped her learn how to navigate Tel'aran'rhiod.
I'm nodding.
The Terangrial that Varen gives, that leads Egwene to the waste, which gives her the strength of the wise ones, which lets her be Amyrlin.
Right. That's how she knows she has to go to the waste, right?
Yep.
She wakes up there. Well, in a dream.
Well, she encounters
Amis?
Because Amis is like reenacting her time as a maiden. Amis says,
"Oh, what are you doing here?"
Yeah. You should come to the waste and be trained.
That's a good scene. She's like hunting a Komodo dragon or something. That's the way I imagine them, anyway. I forget the name of the animal.
She's hunting a lion, I think. Is what
a lion?
says.
I thought it was a...
Everyone's agreeing, a lion.
For some reason, I remembered it being one of the big lizards. Well, yeah, never mind. I mean, I'd say, yeah.
Pretty sure it's a lion.
It's 4 against 1 here.
Anyway, I just saw this whole scene as Suan unloading with people she could trust. That she's been so worried about the various people around her and whether or not they're dark friends that she hasn't had a chance to actually relax. I mean, she can barely even trust her keeper. That's why she's been sending her out, because she's not entirely sure she's not Black Ajah.
Yeah, and also the things that Swan is involving herself in are dangerous enough that even someone who's on the right side, air quote, right side, might turn her in to be punished or stripped of her position.
I think there's a real debate as to, are you supporting a false dragon? Are you supporting a real dragon?
And any male channeler at all?
Right. Oh, yeah. Is there any... All male channelers should just be stilled. And that's the whole point of the Red Ajah, is they're there to capture, stop, and still any male channeler.
Yeah. Trust is as slippery as a basket of eels sometimes. The point is, you 2 are what I have to work with. Thin reeds though you may be. I like this little part. Thin reeds, mother? Nynaeve says through a tightened mouth. Leandrin tried to stuff you head first into a weir. I don't know that word, by the way. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
Weir?
Yeah.
A low dam built across a river to raise the level of water upstream or regulate its flow. An enclosure of stakes set in a stream as a trap for fish. I think the second one is probably more accurate.
A fish trap. I know the concept.
Mm-hmm. So, of course, it's another fish reference from our Amyrlin.
She's saying Leandrin tried to stuff you head first into a trap. And it may well be she left because she learned you were returning and could unmask her. So I have to believe you aren't Black Ajah. I would rather eat snakes and entrails, she muttered, but I suppose I'll have to get used to saying that name. Egwene and Nynaeve kind of react in a annoyed way. They're a bit loud about it. They're like, how could you even think that we were Black Aja?
We were tricked. It's like, well, doesn't look that way necessarily from the outside.
Yeah. Swan says, you may have an Aes Sedai power sometimes, but you are not yet Aes Sedai, not by miles. Well, speak if you have more to say. I promise to leave you weeping for forgiveness. Thin reed, I'll break you like a reed.
And she's deliberately goading Nynaeve. She wants to see if she can keep her temper there.
Nynaeve says, forgive me, mother, but you should not, we would not do such a thing. With a compressed smile, the Emerlin leaned back in her chair. So you can keep your temper when you want to. I had to know that. Egwene wondered how much of it had been a test. Oh, probably all of it.
A little bit. Maybe. But also at the same time, like, Suan does get really, like, Suan and Nynaeve get their backs up with each other quite a bit. They're two very powerful,
they're kind of
very
the same.
opinionated women.
Yeah.
And so, like, I can definitely see her, like, using some legitimate annoyance with this girl to piss her off a little bit and do a test. There's no reason why it can't be both.
Sure. But after like a couple paragraphs of deduction here, Swan says, you are the only two in the tower I can be absolutely sure are not Black Aja.
And that's because they've been trapped.
Right.
And tricked. And the Black Aja wants to get rid of them.
Because they were clearly the target of a scheme of the Black Aja.
Mm-hmm. And later, Egwene realizes that means they must be a danger, that the Black Aja must see them as a danger.
Right.
I mean, obviously later they are a significant, one becomes the Emerlin and the other becomes the one who cleanses the source. So, they're super important, and I don't know how much of that is just prophecy or...
The other one becomes the queen of like an eighth of the world, the known world or something. So they're all really important characters. It would be good if they were dead for the shadow or gone. Liandrin and her 12 went, but did all of them go?
No,
nope.
Not even close.
Just like the couple here right now.
I love that, like, in the beginning of the series, you're like, oh, there's like just these 12 and maybe a couple more hiding out. It's it's like a third of the Aes Sedai. It's like most.
Liandrin and her 12 went, but did all of them go? Or did they leave some of their number behind, like a stub in shallow water that you don't see till it puts a hole in your boat? It may be I'll not find out until it's too late. Then, yeah, I suppose that's true. She doesn't find out until way after it's too late.
Well, yeah, after she's
for her
deposed and stilled.
Right. Nynaeve responds, I don't see what this has to do with us, Nynaeve said slowly.
It's like, I'm sicking you on them.
Just this, child. You two are to be my hounds, hunting the Black Aja. No one will believe it of you. Not a pair of half-trained accepted I humiliated publicly. That is crazy. Nynaeve's eyes had opened wide.
But she does have a decent rationale, which is in raw power, they do have a fair amount. She says, each of you is more than a match for Liandrin in sheer power, and she is the strongest of them. You just have to not charge in without any backup into a trap, and you'll be fine. So I'm sure they won't do that.
They are trained, and you are not. And you, Nynaeve, have limitations as yet. But when you don't have an oar, child, any plank will do to paddle the boat ashore. And she's right.
Any plank will do.
She says something like, if I could have 100 of you, that wouldn't be enough. But for now, I only have 2. Except she already knows she's got the third in the bag.
Oh, yeah. We talked about how she set this meeting up. So, of course, Elaine is going to ask about it.
Yeah.
Of course she's going to find out.
Why not just present it to Elaine? Plausible deniability.
Exactly.
Of not sending the daughter heir of Andor off on a mission that might well get her killed.
I had nothing to do with her journey.
These 2 farm girls, though, they can kind of get lost and nobody really cares.
Right.
They say, how will we find the time with our studies and all the different things we have to do in the tower? And Swan responds simply, you'll find it. You'll have to find it. Later, I just have here, I'm not setting you out as bait, child. If I had 100 of you, I would still not be happy, but there are only 2. So 2 I will have. Nynaeve seems eager. She likes the idea of being the Emerlin's hound.
I'd rather hunt them than sit wondering if the Aes Sedai teaching me is really a dark friend.
And of course Egwene second her. And I will do it too. I don't want to sit wondering and waiting any more than you do. Nynaeve says to Egwene, Woman, I hope you realize you've climbed into a pickling cauldron with me, and the fire may be lit. I know it. Egwene was proud that her voice hardly shook at all. The Amerlin smiled as if pleased, but there was something in her blue eyes that made Egwene suspect she had known what their decisions would be all along.
For an instant, she felt those puppeteer strings.
On her arms and legs again.
Yeah. You think? Of course they're being manipulated.
Varen, the Amerlin hesitated, then muttered half to herself. If I must trust someone, it might as well be her. She knows as much as I already, and maybe more. Her voice strengthened. Varen will give you all that is known of Liandrin and the others, and also a list of the Terangreal that were taken, and what they will do, those that we know. So, I mean, this is obvious, I guess, to any rereader, but I just wanted to point out right off the bat, their main ally is Black Aja. The person she's like, here, go to this woman, she'll help you. No, probably not, or as little as possible. She can't be seen to be helping them, not by the other Black.
Although, and what's really interesting is the most help they get is from one Elsie Grinwall, who leads them to a whole stash of stuff that they weren't supposed to do, that is a trap.
When does that happen?
So it's a couple of chapters from now, as they're doing their research. Elsie, aka Lanfear,
Yeah.
right? It's at this point it's not Elsie. Shows up and says, "Oh, the Amerlin sent me to lead you to all of this extra evidence that you need to check out."
Uh-huh.
And she leads them to it, and that's how they figure out that they're in Tyr, or that they have to go to that they have to go to Tyr.
I don't remember that, or I remember that Lanfear poses as Elsie, but I didn't remember what she did.
No, what she does is leads them to the evidence that points them to Tyr.
Why?
That is a really good question, and one that we will have to answer when we get there.
I agree with you, Leia, because I've said this before on the podcast, but Lanfear is, I mean, she's a chosen, right? She's definitely sworn to the shadow, but she's got this thing for LTT, for Rand. And I think that some of the things she does are so ambiguous that she appears to actually care for him. Like, if Lanfear cares about anything other than herself, she cares for Rand.
I think it's not so much that she cares for him as she wants him to be powerful.
She does not want him to die or to lose.
Right.
She wants not the success of the light.
She wants them to rise up together with the Choden Call and take over.
And defeat the Dark One together and rule the universe together forever.
She wants to become a god.
Right. But she wants Rand to rise to that. So she, on a couple of different occasions, she directly helps Rand in like a really direct way by, messing with the plans of the other Chosen, just so that Rand doesn't get tripped up. Lanfear does also want good arm candy. Right. She doesn't see Rand as good or bad. She sees Rand as a possession.
And she doesn't really see what she does as good or bad. She just sees more power equals better.
And a kind of keystone that, with his power and hers combined, they could probably rule the world and the universe forever.
With Choden Call, certainly.
Yeah. Overly attached girlfriend meme.
That's really good.
Lanfear is the overly attached girlfriend meme, except she's evil and powerful and will kill you.
And kind of immortal. So back to the chapter.
Yes, sorry.
The girls point out that they, as accepted, have a lot of trouble because they can be ordered around by any Aes Sedai.
Right.
So Suan hands them two of these letters that are kind of crucial to the rest of the plot.
Keep these well hidden. They are for an emergency only. Egwene unfolded her thick paper. It held writing in a neat, round hand, and was sealed at the bottom with the white flame of Tarvalin. What the bearer does is done at my order, and by my authority. Obey, and keep silent, at my command. Swan Sanche, Watcher of the Seals, Flame of Tarvalin, the Amerlin Seed. I could do anything with this, Nynaeve said in a wondering voice. I could make a warder dance with this.
A warder. I wonder which warder she's thinking of when she says that.
Until I found out about it, the Amerlin agreed dryly. Unless you had a very convincing reason, I'd make you wish Liandrin had caught you.
I don't know. I think making Lan dance would be worth it.
No dancing warders. That seems a pretty... that seems a line Swan setting.
Have you seen the Wheel of Time version of the 12 Days of Christmas?
No.
I think one of them is like not 9 lands of prancing or something like that. I can't remember which one it was, but one of the days has lands dancing, which I think is great.
Right. Land dances the spears.
He dances the sword.
Right. Yeah. Well, for lack of a better term.
I imagine he would actually dance really well and never crack a smile the whole time. I don't think he'd be stiff at all. I think he would totally, because he is so... Do we ever see land dance? We see Moraine dance, but do we ever see land dance?
Yeah, I mean, Land's sure to have good footwork.
Totally.
I don't think we ever see him dance. But just you remember, child, a dark friend won't heed that any more than a white cloak would. They would both likely kill you just for having it. If that paper is a shield, well, paper shields are flimsy, and this one may have a target painted on it.
It only works for those who recognize the authority of the Amerlin.
Yeah. And some, like if you're working under the authority of the Amerlin, might kill you just for working under the authority of the Amerlin.
Sure.
For as many situations as this can get you out of, it can get you into some that are very bad.
Honestly, outside of Tarvalin, it's kind of useless.
More or less.
Yeah. Unless you, like, run into an agent of the White Tower.
Yeah.
Or another Aes Sedai. But even then, it's, like, yeah, really not helpful.
Yes, Mother, Egwene and Nynaeve said together. Egwene folded her paper up and tucked it into her belt pouch, resolving not to take it out again unless she absolutely had to. And how will I know when that is, she thinks. What about Matt? Nynaeve asked. He's very sick, Mother, and he does not have much time left. I will send word to you, the Amerlin said curtly. But, Mother, I will send word to you. Now off. Off with you, children. The hope of the tower rests in your hands. Go to your rooms and get some rest. Remember, you have appointments with Shiriam and with the Pots. Just like, yeah, you've got a job, but remember, you have an appointment to be beaten. And after that, you'll be cleaning.
And then you need to hunt down my enemies.
Right. After that, you can start hunting the Black Aja. That's your vacation. You thin reeds. I was going to use the other term, but that's what Swan's thinking.
What other term?
I was going to say little shit.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
That's what Swan is thinking.
Yeah.
But thin reeds and all that, sure.
She just says children instead of little shit.
Yeah.
That's generally what I say as well. Don't stick your hand in the honey, you child. No, so 2 things I wanted to point out about that. When she thinks about when will I know how to take it out, when will I know what that is? Immediately transition to, how's Matt? Well, because Matt gets one of the letters.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's just a coincidence. And then the other thing is, the Amerlin does not answer them when she asks about Matt and healing.
I will notify you.
All she has to do is wait a few hours. She still hasn't made her decision as to whether or not she's going to actually help him.
Yeah, the Amerlin says, I will send word to you. She doesn't say, he's being healed, or I'm going to heal him, or
I will send word to you when we're healing
people
him.
are assembling now to do the job. She says, I will send word to you of his death, of his life, or of...
whatever the outcome happens to be.
Right. Last time I went to a laundromat, I went with a friend, like before I moved into my old place before this place. There's a laundromat in Portland there's an attached bar. So you can get a beer while you're waiting for your laundry to be done. It's genius.
Suds and Spin or Spins and Suds or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Honestly, like, people in Portland have figured out that, like, let's take a failing industry and add beer to it.
So all of a sudden everybody likes that shit.
And all of a sudden it works, you know? Like, let's take movies and add beer and pizza. Let's take laundromats and add beer.
When we first met, I was so blown away by Laurelhurst Theater. I went and checked it out, and, like, I remember the week, or, like, within a couple of days when I went because I, like, responded to the girl who was giving up her room and via email on Craigslist. And a couple of days before I was going to meet up with you guys for like the interview, I just walked through the neighborhood to just look at it, look at the building, see what it is. You make sure it's not a crack house, you know, all that. And I walked by Laurelhurst Theater and they were having a Terminator marathon where they were just playing 1, 2, 3. They were just walking through Terminator. I went to see how much it was. It's like $4 for a ticket. You can get beers and slices. I was like, this is a genius. This is genius.
And you sit with a table in front of you, so you're not like sandwiched in.
Yeah, eating pizza and drinking beer and watching movies. That's like probably what I would be doing at home anyway. Except it's $4.
And it's a really big screen.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do dishes.
I think it's like $5 now. Yeah, well, it's to play the old films. So, like, if you want to go see, like, The Matrix Reloaded on big screen, like, there's often a place in Portland that's playing it. But it's an old movie, so you don't have to pay $13 for it or whatever.
Yeah, they always play the rerun.
Yeah, they don't play new movies.
Which oftentimes is only a couple of months after it comes out in theaters.
Sometimes, yeah.
A lot of times.
But I can get stoked about, like, they're playing, like, The Godfather. I'm like,
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll go see
Okay.
that.
And they go back, you know. There'll be black and white films and stuff like that.
Yeah, on the big screen.
And they make all their money off of the pizza and the beer they sell. It's basically a bar with a movie theater attached.
Yeah, I'm sure, you know, $4 or $5 tickets don't. Because me and Jules go do that all the time because we're off together on like Monday and Tuesday usually. Those are her days off, and I often have those off. So like we'll go see a film at like 2 p.m. and it's just like us and like one elderly couple in the theater. It's like, oh, this is great. $4, get a little day drunk. It's a nice day off.
I'd go, but they won't let Timber in.
Ah, dog rights now.
I don't think he'd enjoy the movies as much.
Nah, just loud. It would probably freak him out.
I very rarely go to see new movies in theater because if I do want to go to a movie, I'm not going to go to a theater where it costs $13 to watch a movie. I'm going to go to the $4 movie theater.
Yeah.
So I often, people are like, have you seen the newest blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, no, I really haven't.
I go now because, well, I go to, I forgot the name of the theater, but it's on like Southeast 75th and Stark or something like that.
Actually, I haven't been to a theater in a while, to be honest. Well, I used to go with Jessica.
Yeah, I go with Julia. If left to my own devices, I won't go. Well, every once in a while, but.
I think we went to the McMinimans one.
On Hawthorne?
Yeah.
That's like what you were just describing, Enigma, the McMinimans one. You can like order food and a server brings it to you in the theater while you're hanging out. There's like a pub that's attached and that, you know, it has a full menu and you can order pretty much anything. They'll just bring it into the theater.
I want pizza.
I almost stopped for a slice on my way here, but that's just because there's Blackbird Pizza on my way here and it's pretty close to East Coast Pizza. There's that place in Alberta I've been meaning to try, and that's not that far from our place, but I've never been there yet.
Is it the Chicago style one? They're pretty good. I've eaten there not infrequently, and generally 2 slices will do you for a couple of days.
Hold on, I am actually Googling this really quick.
So I've got a couple of pieces of business I want to take care of while you're Googling. Number 1, I'd encourage everyone who's listening to join the Discord channel. You can find a link on our website at wattspoilers.com or in many of the social media stuff. And when you get there, remember to join an Aja. If you're hanging around in the Discord channel and you haven't joined an Aja yet,
Yes.
please do.
It's starting to be a pretty big community of people. You know, for me and Seth, like, little perspective, cracking a beer, sorry. Little perspective, like, but I just remember going into Discord and it was like it was John Michael would be there and like maybe one other person.
I miss John Michael.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah. Well, I talk to him online every once in a while.
Yeah, I guess he's mostly on Facebook, and I don't tend to log in to that very much.
Yeah, I've started being active on Facebook because of all my Watt spoilers and Mistborn spoilers are run like you like open a page through your personal account. which I
Okay.
think is kind of a dumb system, but it's what it is.
Oh, I think Facebook is kind of a dumb system.
Yeah.
But people are there, and
Thing is,
that's one way
millions
to
of people use it, so you kind of got to be there.
And the JordanCon page is huge. That's where like a lot of the communication happens with those folks.
Yeah, been paying attention to that a bit. Oh, okay. So I was thinking of Bella Pizza, but actually Via Chicago is a lot closer to us. It's on 20th. Bella is on.
I wouldn't mind trying Bella. I've gone to the Chicago a lot.
It says NYC style, which means
Yeah,
they're at least trying to imitate good pizza.
yeah. I'd like to try that.
Can you tell where my loyalties lie, guys?
Hey, I love pizza pie. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you layer that shit, and I will eat the hell out of Chicago style pizza.
Yeah, Chicago, they do their thing,
Yeah.
and it's good, but it's not precisely what I want.
Yes.
I want that crunchy.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to be able to fold my pizza, man. That's important to me.
Like if the pizza, when you fold it in half, sometimes it breaks
Mm-hmm.
in half.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I think.
And
it
then
should
the
be.
grease runs down your hand where you're holding it onto your wrist, and you gotta like lick it really quick just to make sure it doesn't
I just
run
tried
down
to
to your elbow.
hold the other end so it drips onto the plate, and then you sop up the grease with the crust.
That's probably a better way to do it. See, this is where I'm not as good with the. I never lived in the Jersey, New York area. I was more of the Philly. See, that was more about the Philly cheesesteaks.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
And that's something. Oh my god! I every time I see one on a menu, I'll try it, and I'm like, nope, not as good. I miss Philly, for the cheesesteaks, for a lot of reasons, but mostly for the cheesesteaks. Sure, yeah, we do have the requirement. You know, in Patreon, if you are a novice, you have not donated.
Yes.
It does require a donation of $1 to get into an Oddjaw, but donate one time, then cancel your donation, and you're in for your life.
Well, it's $1 a month to have, yeah, or $1 once, really.
Right, because we never cancel it.
Nah. Yeah, we don't go back through and 86 people for, like, missing a month or something. That $1 gives you access to live recordings.
Live recordings and the Oddjaws, which have their own channels.
Patron content, which is a growing thing. I've been working on that a little more.
But it just makes it so that free accounts aren't trolling us. That's really my main goal.
Yeah.
But, also, the first taste is just $1. And then we got you. So, it's a strategy on our part. But yeah, just, if you want to join Naja, it's fun. It's great.
And to be honest, we kind of want to just drink beer and stay in our basement and talk about books all the time.
Kidding.
That's all we really want to do. So if like everyone that downloaded an episode gave us $1 a month, if everyone that listened gave us $1 a month, we could come close to living on that.
$2.
$2.
And there's some people who are supporting us at a much higher level than that, which I really do appreciate.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I should jump over to the latest patrons.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is the other piece of business I wanted to take care of.
Good segue. We were talking about we haven't done that in a couple of weeks. So
I snuck one in when you weren't here. I did a quick recording and threw it at the end of an episode. But starting May 9th, we had Travis Sadai pledge.
what's up, Travis? You're here right now. Thanks.
Yeah, you're totally live.
Thank you.
And Travis has been totally contributing over the last couple of days as in Discord. He's been a great addition to the community. So
Yeah.
it's been great to see you there, Travis.
Also, I think Leia just donated like a couple days ago. We were talking on Facebook. Her name is not Leia on Patreon.
I'll get there.
Okay. Yeah, but do your thing. I'll
Leia,
be
do a
quiet.
shout out when we get to your name. So I'm reading them in order because otherwise I'll lose track. Peter Hybert,
Thank you, Peter.
Andrew Zodi pledged.
We appreciate you, Mr. Zodi.
Samantha, no last name, upped her pledge.
Thanks, Sam.
Judith pledged.
We love you guys.
Jesus Leonard pledged.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus. Alexander pledged 3. Christian Ambrose pledged 5. Christian Lehman pledged 5. Anomander Stark pledged. And that's it.
Thank you so much, folks.
Yeah, that's great. I just love getting those emails and seeing the little bit of money coming in. It makes me so happy that people, every time I see a new name, I'm just like, oh, good, somebody else. And I hope to see you in Discord and hope I get to chat with you.
We generally just go through the notifications on Patreon and just call out everything. So if someone ups their donation, we also call that out.
I try to, yeah. And if I forget to, if I miss you, please yell at me. I don't mean to. I just sometimes.
We will do something about it. We haven't got a "you forgot me" email, and
Kelsey TB is sending me I missed her.
I've been messing with Twitter a lot more recently. I watch the notifications now, so I get pinged on my phone if something happens. But it's less active, and I'm sure, honestly, one of the reasons it's less active is because I'm less active. So
I also think Twitter's a little bit different. It's a different kind of community.
Yeah, it doesn't work the same. I feel like I get Instagram. I know how to work it, but Facebook and Twitter are different.
But I mean, yeah, what do we want to do? We just want to hang out on social media with you guys. That's really our goal.
That's what we want to do with our lives.
Right.
So everyone that's donating, you are helping two guys hang out in a basement, drink beers, and talk about the Wheel of Time. If we could do this, I would do this every night. Seriously. If I didn't have to have another job, I would do this. I would love to.
Patrick does a lot of work for the synopses.
Synopses? I'm guessing.
Yes. I do a lot of editing work.
We get a pre-edit from people that help us, and then Seth does a final edit, and then posts it up and text messages me, and then I listen to it and try to keep it to a paragraph. Sometimes I'm bad at that. Write a description of what we talked about, and then just pick a piece of art that goes with it. If
we had our shit together a little bit more, we'd actually have those all written before the episode came out, but
I have to listen to it.
I know. Well, I could do a better job of like editing it and then letting you know like a couple of days beforehand.
Yeah, if we were like a week or two out, also I could but we don't have that much of a backlog. We usually have like just a couple episodes that are recorded that we.
The recording time we put in is probably the least significant amount of time we put into the podcast.
Yeah.
Between the prep, the editing, the social media stuff.
We spend more time on it than we do talking.
Right.
Afterward. Probably at least double.
But I do enjoy the talking part.
Yeah, well, this is the easy part.
The talking is what we've been doing for years before we started making the podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Wheel of Time Spoilers podcast. Rate us in the Apple Podcast app or support us on Patreon. Is that good enough?